Hello everyone, it's Jamarl Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. This is shaped a little weird today. I hope everyone is doing okay today. Let me check my volume. So I have a few shows lined up for the day. One second, I'm sorry. The Hideous Eyesore at the bottom, again, at this point I would imagine everyone who watches this show knows, is because they demonetize the entirety of the channel, but you can give the super chat via the link in the description box. It's a PayPal derivative. So I hope everyone is doing good. Interesting news. So I had a conversation with a gentleman two people. One that's dealing with graphics. So essentially adding additional stuff to the t-shirts. And the second one has to do with this show itself. So my morning was spent going through what I wanted to do from the standpoint of like slicing the show up. Because I found myself, and I'm sorry for whoever just kind of lands on the show and it's like, dude, just get to the content. So I found myself in a crux of two issues. There's some people who like the longer shows. So shows that go for like an hour. Shows that go for like 40 minutes. There's others who hates those shows, who just wants like 5 minutes. And if I'm being honest, when my wife and I are looking for content, when we're looking for certain things, honestly, sometimes she only looks for the shorter shows. So if I want to grow the channel, I think I probably need to do both. I need to satisfy both. I need to split the baby in half. Do the shows that I typically do, and have somebody go through and essentially slice the shows up. I can focus on content. They can focus on slicing them up. They can ask me which ones I like the best, and we can push to the various platforms. That also gives a certain amount of insulation from YouTube in case YouTube decides to essentially end the channel. Because here's the thing. I mean, there was apparently somebody mentioned on Twitter somebody was removed from WordPress, or got scrubbed from WordPress. The other cat, oh God, what is his name? He's called himself a philosopher. I can't think of his name, but he calls himself a philosopher. Calling himself a philosopher is like calling somebody who does an etch a sketch an artist. But nevertheless, they eventually added it back on. I'm just saying this is treacherous territory. So this does two things. It allows the preservation of the content. So if anything ever happens, there's another channel that still has a content where there's a continuity. And it allows the slicing up of the videos. So when the channel is remonetized, or so from a subscriber standpoint, it allows additional views. So that's the thought. That's what I'm thinking of. Hopefully he accepts, and we'll go from there. So that's what's taking place from the standpoint of the behind the scenes on the channel. I guess you may say, why am I telling you this? For all intents and purposes, you guys, I can't do the channel without you. And so I don't see a problem with telling you what's going on. All right, so let's get to the content. I saw an amazing interview by Carla Ortiz. Carla Ortiz is a Bolivian actress who went to Syria, and in going to Syria, essentially was exposing all of this mind-blowing stuff about the white helmets, like the location, where they're located, as opposed to what's supposedly the terrorists. Because keep in mind, the white helmets are supposedly operating in our areas, supposedly with the terrorists. And we're told that this is not that big of a deal. We'll say, look, the reason they're operating near the terrorists is not because they're terrorists themselves, not because they're helping the terrorists, nothing like that. It's because that's where they're needed the most. That's what we're told. Some of the stuff is fantastic, but that's what we're told. I asked a very basic question, extraordinarily basic. If the white helmets are what you say they are, meaning if you're right, if the white helmets are out there, you know, saving guys, like this guy in the picture, he's rescued a baby, he's like running through with a baby, the bomb exploding around him, and he's running with the baby. Like, if that's what they are, these supermen, why do they need to leave? Like, understand what I'm saying? Are you telling me that if I am thirsty and you're giving me water, I'm going to be angry at you afterwards? That makes no sense. It only makes sense if they're working in coordination with the terrorists. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. You would have to believe that the Syrians are somehow deranged, that they would hate people who are helping them. I don't think that. I don't necessarily think the people there are insane in this way. I don't think the people who are there, who are living under the terrorists, have any illusions about who the terrorists actually are. I think that just takes place here in the States. Let's take a look at this video. I'm gonna hopefully I can play this. I'm not gonna play the entirety of it. I'm just gonna play a segment of it. It's about 3 minutes-ish long. I have several videos that I want to do today. 2 of them. One just came up, Bernie Sanders on Stephen Colbert. That one is interesting. That one is interesting. So, but before that, I had already queued this one up, so let's take a look at this.
They took the 3 schools, just like...
By the way, shout out to Baltazar. Let me explain what I mean by this. Baltazar has been saying, hey, dude, Streamlabs. Now, I've been using OBS, but I wasn't necessarily using Streamlabs. I've started playing around with the technology into this. He sent like a video showing how to do some of this stuff. I just want to give a shout out to Baltazar. Thanks a lot, man. Finally listened.
In Aleppo that I have in my video. The 3 schools. The first one is the training center of the White Helmets. The second one is used like a court where they used to, you know, talk to people and bring people. He's not praying. He's not doing this. He has to be, you know, punished or get in prison, etc. And then
she's giving you the location. She's going to go further into it, but right now she's giving the location of the White Helmets in relation to what they would consider terrorist groups. Essentially, the White Helmets are here, the terrorist groups are here. And he's like, wait a minute, what do you mean? But she'll explain it. I just want to explain what you're watching.
Then you have the third one, which is the third school, which was the prison for Al-Nusra. So the training center of the White Helmets is beside these 2 buildings. And then you have the compound of the White Helmets. I asked the people that were around there, they had no idea who the White Helmets were because they're saying, wait a second, no, because we had no way to get inside. Then in Zamalka, you go 10 minutes away from the training center, okay? And then you find basically 4 big buildings. So now imagine this area here. You have 3 buildings that are the headquarters of the White Helmets. Next door to these 3 buildings is the headquarters of Faylaq al-Rahman. So Faylaq is another terrorist group that had links with the Free Syrian Army, but somehow had links as well with Al-Nusra that was sponsored by Turkey and by Qatar. And they're next door.
Okay, so when you say they're next door, you mean like a block over? You mean like 2 blocks over, like they're very close to each other? How close are you talking?
I mean that they share the same garage. So they park their cars in the same garage. They are like...
So the White Helmets and this terrorist group are parking their cars next to each other in the same garage?
Yes, in the same garage. And basically there are 10 steps. Let's talk about steps. You walk 10 steps, and 10 steps you're in the headquarters of the White Helmets.
So it would be...
10 steps you go to the headquarters of Faylaq.
Then it would be very difficult for anyone to say, well, the White Helmets couldn't have known the terrorists were there.
Exactly. Now, we know that Britain supports the White Helmets. They've been very open about it. So far, they have supported with £38.8 million to the White Helmets. And I found the boots, many, hundreds and hundreds of boots that are made in Britain, and that actually the Army of Britain also uses in the headquarters of Faylaq. So let's say they gave it to the White Helmets and not to the terrorists, but that's what the Syrian people tell you. They are the same.
Understand what she's saying. I mean, because what she's saying is important. She's like, if you talk to the Syrian people, and I was there, I talked to the Syrian people, I was on the ground, I looked another human being in the face, and I asked that human being a question. That human being said, they're both the same. They're both terrorists. Now, do you believe that the people who are living under the terrorists are unclear on who the terrorists were? I guess that's what we're, essentially what we're asking here, or that's what's I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. The people lived under them. White helmets were working side by side with the terrorists. And in this case, she's making the point that the same boots that were given to the white helmets were the same boots that the terrorists were using. Now, either one or two things. Either the British government gave them directly to the terrorists, or the British government gave them to the white helmets, who in turn gave them to the terrorists. You know, it's like, it doesn't really matter which one it is. At the end of the day, the terrorists are ending up with the weapons and the resources that are being used. And let's be honest. I mean, come on. This seems like a magnificent propaganda campaign from the standpoint of the white helmets. I don't know that as a fact, but that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. That's what it smells like to me. You know, it's like the only place I could get across any evidence from a standpoint of a chemical strike with the white helmets. And then you find out that the chemical strike never took place. That's great. Let's keep going. I'm not going to do much more of it, but I do want to hear a little bit more.
White helmets work for the terrorist organizations.
You've given examples where the white helmets were next to terrorist buildings. Maybe that's just two examples. Are there any other cases where they're close together?
So this is, yes. So you have the headquarters of the white helmets, okay, that they are linked to a residential building where they supposedly were living or commuting or getting together, however, and you have this big tunnel that connects the headquarters of the white helmets with this residential building.
What else did you find?
Okay, we found also the trucks, the firefighter trucks of the real Syrian civil defense. And, you know, which is crazy. And then they put the logos. And how did I know they were the White Helmets headquarters? Because I found a bunch of evidence and stickers and, you know, the tanks of oxygen with their logo of the White Helmets. Also, it's very important to say that the jackets that are used by the White Helmets, you know, it's written in English in the back. Are used for the films that come into
from the White Helmets headquarters was a weapons factory.
It's a weapons factory, and this weapon factory also it is 100 meters from a chemical lab, which is also 150 meters from the headquarters of the White Helmets.
So the White Helmets were in the middle of a chemical weapons factory and a weapons factory.
Exactly. So the chemical lab factory, it had also testings for animals, and we found poison. I actually had some on my skin because I was touching everything. And plenty of books about chemistry.
You were in 6 different cities in your most recent trip, and you talked to a lot of people about the White Helmets. You told me that no one had heard of the White Helmets, or most people had not heard of them. If they're there to help people as a humanitarian group, why had no one heard of any of them?
I asked the children, like, do you know who the White Helmets are? And they have no idea. And I asked, but look at the poster. You don't know who they are? And they don't know who they are. They have no idea who they are.
Why do you think they didn't know who these White Helmets were?
Number one, because all these neighborhoods where the White Helmets headquarters were are enclosed neighborhoods reserved only for terrorists. So I'm doing this specifically because it's exactly like this. So you have this neighborhood that is Al-Nusra, which is Al-Qaeda in Syria, or Falak al-Rahman, or Jaish al-Islam. So actual civilians that know who they are or that heard about them, they would ask them to please assist them and take care of them because they knew they had hospitals. And they will always deny. I have the testimony of a child who told me he was he's 12 years old, and he was telling me, I got very sick and my parents went and asked for help, and they will deny treatment to them. Not only that, the ones that know who they are, they always say they're terrorists.
So we know
Now, to be fair, she went, it is impossible for her to know that they always say X or they always say Y. So, you know, let's put a pin in that part. Yeah, let's put a pin in that part. The always part always stows me. But I would say this. She went, she was on the ground, she looked around, and her last report was a bombshell. The reason why I show this video is because I kind of want to get this thing across of when people are there and they talk to the people that are there. The people that are there are giving a very different impression than what the media here is giving. That's the only reason I showed this video. That's the only reason I do this video. I'm laughing at the misogynist in the group. MacArthur, Louisiana, she looks good to bang. And I'm joking with the misogynist thing. I don't think saying somebody is attractive is horrendous. Hello, jerk. I don't like the general perspective of the one American news network. They're like Sinclair or Fox News. Hell, yeah, fair enough. No. Fair enough. But I do want to get the perspective of this person was there. And what they're saying is not all that different from the other gentleman, the British cat that went there, that came from there. So multiple journalists went and came back with a similar perspective. John Pilger, that's him. John Pilger. Yeah, I've discussed this. I've discussed John Pilger. Mal CH. I've discussed John Pilger. She just so happened to be the last one to release a story. But I've done John Pilger's story on this. John Pilger came back with a similar perspective. All of this stuff was similar. John Pilger even made the point that the Syrian military was like, yeah, this tunnel leads all the way back to Britain. Making the point that, you know, the terrorists were essentially working with the British government, British and American government. No, she's Bolivian. She's Bolivian. All right, I'm going to end this because I have additional videos that I want to do today. So, well done, Glasgow Rangers. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Mind over Milky. That's funny. Kalita, I saw a video on the BBC where a little girl was talking about how she and her family were present during the gas attack. Oh, during the gas attack. I saw it. So I saw multiple videos on that. So there was one video where the person was present, and then they brought the person to a press conference. The person was like, "It didn't happen," and so I tell them a little bit more. Progressive union. I would love to have a progressive union. Yes, I have a sense of humor about this stuff. My wife and I are sexist and racist all the time, but we know neither one of us is sexist and racist. It's like us joking is not the same thing as somebody being serious. Yeah, I have a sense of humor about this stuff. You can't just flip out. Bud, Nevada, just sent you an email. I check it out. I just check it out. My team just went through the next stage in the Europe. Oh, nice. Very nice. Very nice. I don't think he went to Syria. No, he did go to Syria. No, Pilger went to Syria. In fact, Pilger was one of the few journalists. Was it Pilger? Yeah, it was Pilger. Pilger went to Syria. Pilger was one of the ones that went to Syria. All right. I know Dark Roasty. Yeah, she's attractive. She's very attractive. He's most focused on her, not on her. Yeah, she's attractive. But what I like about this is she did an awesome job. I love the fact that she went. I love the fact that she went there. That's badass. It's really badass. But yeah, John Pilger went. John Pilger, if I'm not mistaken, he even has interviews where he's talking about this. In fact, I know he has interviews. He's even written about this. Unless I'm mixing him up with another British cat, I think it's John Pilger. All right, let me end this now. I have another video immediately after this. The amazing, the ever brilliant Tom Dark Legend is here to disagree with everything Jamarl is. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. And it's so true. MacArthur, Jamarl, how can I send you money? I want to see more shows on UFOs and free energy. You will see shows on UFOs, free energy. I don't know about that one. Look, PayPal, Patreon, or you can even do it on here through the thing at the bottom. If you do it through here, there's a little icon that will come up. Spock will say thank you, or one of the other Star Trek characters will come up and thank you. You should do a vid on recent study that showed the pyramid focuses energy to the king's chamber. I haven't seen that study, mind over matter. Or mind over... I don't know what that MNKY stands for. Screw with me. Yeah, that's hilarious. I'm here to disagree with everything Jamal says. That's fucking hilarious. Alright. Yeah, we didn't see her sniffing for toxic nerve gas. Yeah, that was CNN. That was CNN. Oh, did you? No, I haven't covered the Monsanto one yet. You mean them losing that court case? No, I haven't covered that yet. I haven't covered that yet. Robert Fisk! It was Fisk. It was Fisk. It wasn't Pilger. I'm sorry. You were right. It was Fisk. Like I said, I knew it was one of those British. One a Brit. It was Fisk. It wasn't Pilger. I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I'm horrible. It was Fisk. It was Fisk. John Pilger is still badass, but this case was Fisk. I can see them in my head. That's the sad part. I just misassociated the name. Alright, I'm going to end this. I'll see you guys shortly. Stick around. I would flip this back in like 10 minutes. Let's watch Bernie Sanders have a conversation with apparently Stephen Colbert. And for what I understand, at least from what the guys say on Twitter, Colbert is not into the socialism thing. So let's let's. Oh, he's Australian. Oh, that's me wrong on 2 counts. God damn. God damn. That's my bad. Dose of Roundup. Look up a dose of Roundup. The thing is, I like Pilger and Fisk, and so I may, mix them up. But I like both. Fisk is the one that went. Pilger, I follow Pilger's. Is it a blog? Pilger writes also, if I'm not mistaken. But I think one is a diplomat, the other is a journalist. But I'm conflating the two. I'm mixing the two up. If Carla Ortiz was on mainstream media, I might start watching it again. Australia, UK, all the same to me. They're not the same. They're not the same. They're not the same. I'm not gonna joke Aussies. I wish they would stand up for their countryman Julian Assange, but I'm not gonna joke. Not gonna joke. They're both journalists. Yeah. Pilger better see statement on Julian Assange. If I'm not mistaken, he wrote one. Jamal, why don't you do a video about Ben Carson? Why the hell would I do a video about Ben Carson? Why would I? There is nothing extraordinary about Ben Carson, except how unextraordinary he is. Especially from the standpoint of what the hell he's doing in the housing thing. Alright, let me end this, because I have another video after this. Alright guys, I will see you shortly. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'll see you in about 10 minutes. Thanks everyone.